if my audio doesn't hit the red at some point, like in every 10 seconds, something's wrong. So
Okay.
I can help you with compressor settings later.
Man, I've learned enough this weekend. I had to sew on some buttons to my uniform shirt because we need to flog the HR drone. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Librarius Conclave with yours truly, Johann Gasmask, entrepreneur of the Johann Arms Company. If you need it, we probably have it.
Allegedly.
Oh no, you'll get it. Even if I have to break the laws of reality, you'll have it.
Okay.
And your dashing robot husbando, Alfonso Igal.
I'm Lionel Johnson, and I'm about to come in my pants.
I was going to call you the star of the show, and you immediately...
You made it worse. Anyway.
We redoing it, or is that it?
No,
I love
that's fine.
We'll do it live!
So, the Dark Angels today.
Yes.
Well, technically it was the Dark Angels yesterday, but nap accidents.
The Dark Angels are so yesterday.
I mean, they are. They
Hey.
really are.
Fuck you.
I was about to say, the Dark Angels actually probably, in current lore, are the second most, I don't want to say active, but like story relevant in terms of people going out there and doing things.
Well, their daddy
Things
came
like
back,
getting-
so that's
Things-
sort of like the kids getting up to like clean the house.
No, that's
As
what I
it
mean.
were.
No, absolutely.
Yeah. I'll just put
They-
a meme. I'll just put a meme in Conclave Chambers so you can see kind of what things are happening right now.
Yeah. We're being attacked by Chaos Orcs, Tyranids, Eldar, Tau, Necron, etc. I hereby authorize the use of the Red Wing Protocol.
Oh, no.
All dead. Gone.
Yep.
So I remember when Big E was talking about how the Custodies had good tech.
Yeah.
The Dark Angels
Mhm.
have tech on a similar and also higher level.
They literally have
That's
jet
a terrifying
bikes.
concept.
Yeah, no, they literally have jet bikes and shit.
Oh yes. I also need to talk about that.
Oh yeah, no, we'll get
I'm
into that
super
in
duper
War
interested in
Gear.
that.
Yeah.
Because unlike other chapters that use just like borderline normal shit, the Dark Angels have some fucking stupid shit.
Hey.
Are we talking like Dark Cells levels of insanity?
I didn't
don't
mean
know what
stupid,
that
stupid.
means.
Meant like ridiculous.
Okay, I was gonna say because like I wanted to know if the roof was about to cave in. I'm like,
I've just got a few artistic pictures of some of the main characters of the Dark Angels. So if you want to see them, just to get an idea.
oh yeah, of course.
So, well, I'll let Johan go first and say what he wants to
Yeah,
say. Ask questions.
I'm just gonna do what we always do. I don't know much about the Dark Angels. I know a lot more about the Black Templars or the Space Wolves than I do the Dark Angels. Mostly because they never interested me. But they're kind of cool. I learned a lot from Phalanx or Pavor, as you might know. So there's that.
Yeah.
But
Well, to be fair, she
she had an entire RP alt.
Yeah.
Role playing as, was it Asmodai or?
Oh my god, I remember she used to
Asmodai.
Asmodai's dick for ages.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Anyway,
Yeah, it was quite bad.
But so I'm kind of in the same boat as Johan when it comes to this. I know very little about I know very little about the Dark Angels. I know that they have become incredibly plot relevant, like I said before, because of the fact that Lionel Johnson just showed up and was like, "I got the milk, kids."
Yep.
I came back after getting some milk and cigarettes. So I know that much. And meanwhile, the Salamanders, the other green faction, are crying about this.
Yeah,
Well,
because Vulcan should
Because
have come
Vulcan
back
ain't coming
first.
back, but
No, he should have come back first. He's a fucking perpetual.
I know
They
he's
shouldn't
not
have
coming
gone in the
back.
first place.
Yeah.
He's
Like-
hanging out with the Silent King, take care of the Tyranids. There's heresy.
Did you say Tyranids or Terminids?
Tyranids.
Okay. I've got hell pods on the brain. Anyway, so I think it's best to start with the general overview, which is to say, we'll start at like the top of the Dark Angels like hierarchy,
Okay.
go down, and then sort of like branch off into how like their relationship with their successor chapters.
Okay,
Right.
yes, because that is an interesting one with the Dark Angels, especially.
Yeah.
So, I am going to put the current Supreme Grandmaster of the Dark Angels in.
Watch it
Conclave
just be a
Chamber,
selfie.
get a good look.
Right.
Right. Obviously, he is the leader. He just before the Lionel Johnson returned, he was the one who decided pretty much everything. He had 3 other main characters that, quote unquote, argued, debated, and assisted him in making certain decisions. Asmodai, Belial, and Ezekiel. There isn't, from what I've read, there isn't a whole lot on Samael. I'm about to post 4 pictures now as well, in order. Belial, Ezekiel, Asmodai, and Samael in that order.
Actually, before we continue, because again, I'm super duper outside perspective, what would be the like elevator pitch of the chapter? Like, what are we like if you were to give somebody who's barely touched Warhammer and who has an outside perspective,
Knights
like,
of the Round
what
Table,
is the
or Knights of the Round Table
I'd
crossed
say
with the
that's
Illuminati.
I'd say that's a little bit of a misconception, because I remember watching a Bricky video and he said the same thing.
Mhm.
And he said, "Oh, they've all given knightly names." No, they are given demon names.
I was about to say, because Azrael and Asmodai are both very much demon names.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, I don't see them as Knights of the Round Table. I see them Knights of Hell.
Interesting.
I was more talking just like their general aesthetic,
Yeah.
and then that sort of the Knights of Hell thing sort of plays into the but they're also the Illuminati part.
Because I know
Yeah,
that the
true.
Fallen are a thing.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Don't you worry.
Okay.
We'll
Is
get
that like
to
a big? Because I'm guessing that's a big deal.
It's a pretty big deal. Yes, it's that's an understatement.
It's the reason they do half the shit, and in my opinion, from what I've seen, it gets a little contrived.
It's the reason why instead of just chaplains, the Dark Angels have interrogator chaplains.
Ah, okay.
For an example on how big the Dark Angels motivations for the Fallen is, they literally did a fucking mass drop of the Deathwing onto a planet in the middle of a fucking war, which was the Siege of Vrax. Blew up a spaceport and then fucked off, all for one Space Marine. Like one
So
Yeah.
you could say that their raison d'être would be the Fallen. Like is this like a thing that if this is a thing that is on the battlefield, if it's a battlefield factor, they drop all other priorities, become secondary to that?
Yes.
Yes. So
Okay.
essentially,
Before we
Fallen
get
are-
let's hold that off till we get to the secret sauce.
So are they instead repenting demons then? Because you said that they're demon knights or knights of hell. Well, they're not demon knights, but they're knights of hell. Are they knights? Because you have to remember,
Could be
demons
it's
and
sort of
angels.
like
The only
a
difference is a broken halo.
well. Could
Are they
be
then
it's-
kind of the ones that are repenters?
Yeah, it could be like a
Well, that's
fallen
just-
angels
well,
type thing.
Well, that's why I'll say this also. The entire group of the Dark Angels, including all of their successor chapters, are known as the Unforgiven.
Hmm.
Hmm.
So, you can say yes, they are trying to redeem themselves.
Interesting. Okay. And I also know that these are the first Legion,
And
uh, which implies to me that there was maybe some prototype jank.
Well, as far as I'm aware, there's a character called Leto in the Siege of Terror.
Mhm.
He was like a proto-space marine. I'm fairly certain it was the what were the ones that they used on Terror again?
Thunder Warriors.
Thunder Warriors?
Yeah, Thunder Warriors. Then whatever Leto was, and then Dark Angels, and the Dark Angels and the Custodies killed all the Thunder Warriors, and then that's when they decided to make all the other, well, not make them, but give them more people, all the other legions. It's difficult to
I see.
describe, really.
That's very, like I said, that's very interesting to see, because whenever I think of the first of anything, I always imagine that it's going to be mad jank. But I also have to remember this is 40K, so normally
Yeah.
the first iteration is the best one. It's the one with the least amount of problems.
Well, if you ask me, that is the case.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I know that they don't have any genetic aberrations like the Space Wolves do, or the Salamanders tend to have, things like that. So
Yeah, there's no
is that
particular flaw or anything like that.
okay? So they don't have the weird sanguineous raw berserker edge.
Well, I don't know if
To be
this-
fair, that isn't genetic. That's
Yeah.
that's a
that's a demon.
that's a whole other thing.
Nothing that's genetic. However, they do have obviously their secrecy, which is
Mhm.
just
I'd call it
Yeah.
just like weaponized schizophrenia as what they have.
Trauma, guilt.
Guilt above all. Above all,
Yes.
guilt. That is the key.
So they're the kind of person who sees an archaeoflagellant and kind of goes, and takes notes.
I'm pretty sure that they can make a dark elf sing through torture, so they don't need to learn from the archaeoflagellant.
Fair point.
So yeah. Now, companies in the Dark Angels. We've got the first company, which are the Deathwing. They are all bone white Terminators, every single one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And the bone white indicates that they are Dark Angels that are aware of the Fallen, because not every Dark Angel is.
Yeah.
So they have a layer,
Yeah,
like sort of
and you
of secrecy inside of themselves.
Yes, and the Psychers of the Dark Angels, particularly Ezekiel, are the ones who test other Dark Angels to see if they are strong-willed enough to hold the secret of the Fallen in order to join the First Company.
Nice.
And if they aren't, then goodbye.
How big is the first company? Is it like, oh, we've only got 100 Terminators, or is it like, are they
from
fully
what I-
Codex compliant, or are they
Oh,
funny?
of course not. I mean, it's never been fully, from what I've seen, it's never been fully shown off how many there are. But I mean, if you've played the Deathwing game, Space Hulk,
Yeah.
you'll see that there were a lot
Of
of
boarding
squad-
torpedoes. Each one carrying like
I think it's like 5 or 6.
5 or 6, yeah.
Yeah.
And then, third company are, well, the Raven Wing, which are all about, instead of going super slow in Terminator armor, go fast in big old jet bikes and land speeders.
Is it the Raven Wing? I thought that'd be like the Raven Guard thing.
No, the Raven Guard are their own legion.
I know, but like I thought like the Raven Wing sounds like something that the Raven Guard would have.
Yeah, true, but yeah,
I
whatever.
mean, there's only so many different combinations of all the cool words in the English language.
I mean,
Yeah.
I hate to say it.
Yeah, there
Okay.
a Horus Heresy. There were 6 different wings. They got the Deathwing, Ravenwing, Dreadwing, Fire Wing. The other 2 I can't quite remember. They're kind of more forgettable.
Yeah. The
But
tactical
yeah,
companies, if you will.
that's why they don't exist anymore, really.
Oh, Iron Wing and Storm Wing, by the way.
Oh, thank you for that.
And then Fire Wing, which just sounds, I don't know why, but seeing that written down, Fire Wing, I'm like, I don't like that word. Because they put it all in one. It's not fire space wing. It's all one word. I don't know.
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, the third company, who is led by Samael, who you can see on the big old jet bike, it looks incredible.
Yes.
As far as I'm aware, most of them know about the Fallen. I don't know if all of them do. I just know for 100% that all of the Deathwing know about the Fallen.
So is it kind of an open secret within the chapter, or is it very stratified?
You will not know unless anyone. I mean, unless everyone agrees that you are allowed to know.
Okay.
I mean, even Ezekiel, who is the Grandmaster of the Librarians, there are psychic wards in the Rock, which is the Dark Angel's home base, that stop him from being able to peer into certain areas because even things there are things he's not allowed to know.
And he's in the inner circle.
Yeah, he's literally number 3 on the leaderboard.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So there's like 2 people ahead of him, right? And only those 2 people are in charge of, I'm assuming, like, at least a house-sized area of the Rock that only they know about.
Yeah.
So I just realized I'm looking at some of the symbology, and I know we said kind of Illuminati, but I'm feeling more Masonic, especially with the layers of secrecy and the layers of knowledge. Well, there is a difference.
I know. I'm playing into the meme.
But the sort of Gnostic purpose that also kind of works with the overall Space Marine thing of warrior monks, where a lot of the Masonic stuff is Gnosticism, and it's like the more you know, the more dangerous it is. The knowledge itself is dangerous.
I mean,
so
yeah, I can go into that a bit because there are inquisitors that have tried to investigate and they are never seen again. So it's very typical.
Yes, they get the accommodation airlock.
Yeah.
No, they get the accommodation ration. Man, then, those corpse starch rations were really meaty yesterday.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So we can get on to the interrogator chaplains, who are interesting to say the least.
I've seen the meme about Asmodai.
Yeah, the most notable character being, of course, Asmodai. However, he's not actually the leader of the interrogator chaplains, because he is just so hateful and rage-filled. Yeah, that he just can't be trusted with command. And so command of the interrogator chaplains is given to someone called Zaphon, I believe, but he doesn't have a model. So there's
that's a shame.
Yeah, there's no real dedicated art of him.
Yeah, because I imagine you don't want the unvarnished true believer, which I'm imagining that's what Asmodai basically is he's.
Yeah, I mean, I'll put it this way: someone, I think it was either a recruit in training, either spoke to him or just looked at him wrong, and that guy is now never allowed to speak ever again.
What the fuck?
So he's really hard in the paint.
Yeah, that's why he's not got command, but he's got respect, because when he wants to do something, he gets it done.
Yeah.
I remember a specific book where he was torturing a member of the Black Legion.
Mhm.
And he started very simply. I think he put a knife in his forearm and slowly started dragging it out through his hand.
Oh
Mhm.
And they
god.
said, "Let's talk." So, and that's a simple start for the torture.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's a hell of a start to let's talk.
Yeah. And
Mhm.
something very interesting about the Dark Angels as well, with their successor chapters now, is that all of them, all of the leaders of each successor, they all still follow the orders of Azrael, the Supreme Grand Master. He is still in command of all of them.
Mhm.
So it's technically like there aren't a bunch of different successor chapters, they're just a bunch of different companies, and that's it.
So that's how they're getting around Codex compliance, I'm
Yeah,
guessing, is that
yeah,
they
pretty
sort of
much.
went, okay, these guys are their own thing, air
Yeah,
quotes. They just really have a great high level of deference to Azrael, and it'll be fine. Don't worry.
yeah.
Oh no, it's
We have
great.
a close partnership.
Yeah, it's great because I'm pretty sure if pre-Gilliman Ultramarines had found out about it, they'd be pissed. Which is funny
Oh, yeah.
because the Ultramarines have Ultramar, and
Yeah.
Ultramar has a fuckload of Space Marine chapters.
Well, yeah, it's a do as I say, not as I do kind of thing
Oh,
with the
yeah.
Ultramarines. Always has been.
That's why I fucking hate them. Anyway,
Hey, man. At least they pay their taxes on time.
ugh. Anyway,
Right.
let's
Okay, what would you like me to talk about next?
all right.
So-
We were going down the organizational thing. Like,
Yes.
Is there anything else to the organization beyond that, or is it
In
just
terms of the companies, everything else after the Deathwing and Ravenwing is
Yeah.
very standard.
okay?
Okay.
All right, that's
So they are, I mean, like, quote unquote, Codex compliant in that way. Is there any kind of standout in terms of their doctrine that affects how they organize their troops?
Not that I'm aware of.
Interesting.
I mean, I haven't been into the tabletop since the 5th edition, so I'm not very aware of that side of things.
well, I think he was more talking like in-universe stuff.
In universe, I mean, a lot of it comes from the tabletop.
Yeah, the
Right.
thing with like Space Marines, and even to a lesser extent the Imperial Guard, it changes wildly depending on, anything from chapter or regiment all the
To
way
writer.
down to, well, to writer, but also down to like whatever mission they're on. Like,
Oh yeah, mission variable equipment is always going to be a thing for any of these
well,
guys, which is
not
really
just-
cool. That's the thing that Space
Well,
Marines are way better at than
yeah.
anything else in the Imperium, except for maybe the Custodians.
it's not the mission variable equipment, it's the mission variable organization.
Oh, fair point. Yeah.
Because you could have a sergeant hypothetically in charge of like 5 squads of Space Marines.
Oh, actually, that reminds me of something. In terms of the inner circle, there's the possibility that anyone within the Dark Angels can be in the inner circle. Because there's a story about a Dark Angel who gets mind probed by an alien to figure out who his other friends are, but he doesn't know. Because whenever they meet, they're always covered in robes, they can't see each other. So
Oh.
you never know exactly who you are talking to about secret shit.
Yeah, that's very much then Masonic vibes of the anonymity and the sort of cellularized nature of the knowledge, where you don't know who knows what, and so you
Yeah.
have to be very careful because anybody could be like, "Hey, you're not supposed to know that."
When the 10-foot tall screaming super soldiers have better intel security than the fucking nuclear program.
So, in terms of the combat doctrine, I just really quickly did an eyeball at Lexiconum, and correct me if any of this is out of place or wrong.
Okay.
They really like plasma weaponry.
Oh, yes. Plasma and swords.
Yeah,
Ah, so fire and blade. Got it.
we can get into that.
I
in
vibe
the-
with
yeah.
this.
You can really see a theme without
Yeah.
seeing what they look like.
Well,
we
which
can-
makes sense with their gene father being Lion, the fucking executioner, I believe, is his epithet.
No, that's Lehman Russ.
yeah.
Is it Lehman Russ is the executioner? Oh, you're right.
Russ-
Lehman Russ is the
Yes.
executioner.
Yeah,
What is it?
it's said like that. Lehman Russ is the executioner. Lionel Johnson is the exterminator.
Ah.
Yeah.
Oh
It's like-
dear.
Yeah, so during the
Okay.
yeah, so during the Horus Heresy, obviously Horus was found first, so he was able to conquer more worlds.
Mhm.
Lionel Johnson was found about halfway through, and before the Horus Heresy really started, he pretty much caught up to Horus. Horus was starting to
my.
get jealous and scared.
Oh my god. Oh.
And also, yeah, every Primarch has a unnatural fear towards the lion also.
Really?
Really.
Oh boy.
Primarchs do.
Well,
Yeah.
That's
save,
interesting.
well, no, save
He's the
for
only Yeah,
save
he's
for
the
Lehman
only-
Russ.
Well, yeah. He's the only Primarch where other legions, other Primarchs' sons are forced to bow. Not by choice, but just
Like
because
inherent genetic.
yeah, they can't help themselves but bow towards the lion, even though he's not their gene father.
That's fucking terrifying.
Which sort of like puts in my mind that the lion should have been the War Master.
Yeah.
Just like from the start, like he was intended to be the War Master, but
Yeah.
you know, Erda,
He's,
that bitch.
he's definitely got a strong will, to say the least. I remember something else as well when it came to Horus. I think it was Horus he was talking to. It's like, they've been tempting you for years. They've been tempting me since I landed on that rock. Ever since he
Oh,
was a
so
baby.
there's
Ever
been-
since,
okay.
yeah, ever since the lion got out of that little pod and was fighting chaos demons, Chaos has been trying to get him on their side, and they've
Yeah.
failed. Loyalty is its own reward.
Yeah.
That's the lion's most famous quote.
Really?
you-
That's okay. So he's a big hardline believer in the imperial truth. He's not. I'm guessing that even in current year, he's not disillusioned with the state of. He might be disappointed.
Oh, he's
But he-
furious.
I meant, yeah, I can imagine. But he's kind of not like Gilliman, where Gilliman's like, "Oh my god, what the fuck have you all done?"
Yeah. Well,
He's
whereas
more like, "All right,
Gilliman-
we're gonna fix
yeah.
this."
Whereas Gilliman is depressed, the lion is just angry.
Yeah.
That's a perfect quote right there.
Yeah. Gilliman
The lion
drinks
is
heavily
angry.
and buries his hands in or his face in his hands anytime someone talks. The lion just beats the shit out of people and screams from the rooftops.
Yeah. Alright,
The thing is, all of his art, especially his recent art, I imagine him not even shouting. He just says something and everybody's like, "Oh!"
yeah, he's very calm, and that's what's scary.
Externally calm.
Because when he's
Yeah.
quiet, that means he's thinking.
Okay. Anything else?
You don't want to
about-
be thought at by a man named the Exterminator.
anything. Yeah. Anything else about the organization?
Nothing that's really
Okay.
overly important.
The
Anything of note about the chapter itself you can think of, really, beyond what
In
we've already
terms
covered? Just like, well, we're about to get into like notable successor chapters, which,
Okay.
but I'd like to know, is like there anything else that there might be to that, or
Not that I can think of.
do we want to do a really quick history lesson? Because
yeah, that's a good
I-
idea. I
there's a
was-
lot of stuff that seems to be kind of wrapped
Oh yeah,
up in
that
the
will help
history of
talk
the
about
chapter.
Fallen as well.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, well, we can go into that in the secret sauce because, again,
Okay.
this is really meant to be just like a short one. notable successors, because it sort of plays into like their organization and the way that they have it planned out.
When it comes to notable successor chapters, there are a few. There's Angels of Absolution, Disciples of Caliban, but my personal favorite is the Guardians of the Covenant. They are very interesting because they are described definitely as space monks because they spend most of their time reading. That's it.
Really?
Yeah, just reading books and learning stuff.
Book nerds, space marines.
Yeah. And they have like silver armor and red robes.
Ooh,
Which is really good looking.
that's like fucking medieval right there.
I'll see if I can get a picture.
But and like they do have all of those chapters, as Lion said, do answer to the Dark Angels proper, and I believe there was like a fucking protocol or something that sort of just like, you know, called all of the quote unquote successor chapters back.
Yes. So in before the Lion returned, every single Dark Angel successor converged onto the planet that was Caliban put back together.
Wait, what?
They
Well,
put
that's-
Caliban back together?
No, the Dark Angels didn't. Vashtor did.
Vashtor.
The Archfane, that new chaos thing that wants to be a chaos god.
Oh, the one that makes guns.
Yeah.
My homie.
I never heard of that, but I'll look into
Yeah,
it.
it's in the Arcs of Omen. It's the one where the Lion comes back and they meet him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he spent all that time putting Caliban back together because Caliban is a very important world to Chaos.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that would explain why when the Lion got bumped into it,
Mm.
he was fighting chaos.
Yeah. Also, because the Rock has had a certain piece of technology on it that was very important to Chaos as well. Basically,
Right, the Rock is their current their fortress monastery.
The Rock is basically the biggest part of Caliban that got blown up that survived.
Yeah.
So their home.
It's literally a rock. Oh,
Yeah,
It's-
it's literally just a big rock.
No, it's the chapter monastery that was on
Yeah.
Caliban, but like all of the tech and reinforcements and shit. I'm imagining there was a massive like underground structure, like under it.
Yeah, and it's
And-
kind of all held together. Yeah.
Yeah, that sort of held together what I'm assuming is either like a city or like small continent from Caliban.
I can post another picture for you
Yeah.
to give you just an idea of how big the rock is compared to the biggest ships in the Imperium.
Yeah.
oh dear goodness.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba.
Oh, it has regions.
Oh.
It has literal like listed, not like zones or sector regions.
Yeah.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
Oh no.
I wonder if like through the years they've sort of like widened out the tunnels where they can so they can just like drive the Dark Angels equivalent of golf carts around.
The speeder bikes.
Yeah.
I just imagine there's like a massive spinal highway of just like cargo trucks and like fucking little space marine buggies.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Just Dark Angels puttering around. Just bzzz.
But yeah, the rock had a piece of technology on it that was essentially, it gave them the ability to just teleport the rock anywhere they wanted. And now Vashtor has that.
Oh.
Yeah.
So the rock can no longer travel now, huh?
It can travel, it just can't teleport wherever, whenever.
Okay.
Okay.
So they've lost their Illuminati powers. Gotcha.
Wait, is this the thing that talks through a dead kid?
Yeah.
Ew.
Oh, great. Okay. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. See, I know a lot of the like horror aspects because I love horror. So when something says that it talks through the body of a dead child, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna write that down.
Yep.
Yeah.
We'll get to that maybe in notable equipment.
Yeah. Nothing else comes to mind for what I was thinking of with the notable successors when I was fucking half asleep at 2 a.m.
In
Yeah,
terms of notable successors, is there do they have did they take I think it's called the hexagrammaton? Did they split that into successors, or was that like just kind
The
of just white?
hexagrammaton was the whole Deathwing, Dreadwing, Ravenwing, and all that.
Yeah, yeah. Did they split that up into other like did they take those knightly orders and put them in their own chapters?
I believe so, but like I said, it's not really talked about. The successor chapters in the Dark Angels are kind of neglected.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a shame.
Because they do just follow Azrael, it's like, why would we give them their own
Yeah,
story? They
they're,
just follow Azrael anyway.
I get it, but
Yeah.
there's so much fun stuff you could do.
I agree. Like, Guardians of the Covenant, I love them to death. They're so simple, but
Yeah, like I said, I probably shouldn't have named it like notable successors because there's not much to them.
yeah, it's not like the Ultramarines where half of them have their own books.
Yeah, and they have their pseudo autonomous. This seems like they're like it's kind of a cool concept because it's a legal loophole, but at the same time it is kind of a bummer that they don't have their own kind of identity.
I mean,
it's sort of just a color scheme, and then it's just a Dark Angel that's got a different color scheme.
Yeah, I mean they do. It's complicated. Like I say,
Mhm.
there are slight differences, and each successor chapter does have its own chapter master. They just all listen to Azrael when he says what to do.
Hence the name Supreme Grand Master.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that is so goofy. I hate it. Anyway.
I love it.
Well, no, I love the separated but not separated part. I hate the name, the Supreme Grand Master.
I love the name. I just think it's so silly, but so
Yeah,
cool.
that's partially why I hate it. It's like
it takes itself so seriously that you kind of have to be like either laugh at it or be kind of terrified.
Yeah, well, that's the thing about the Dark Angels. They are both incredibly silly, but also probably the most fucked up loyalist Space Marines you'll see.
Yeah.
Because the Interrogator Chaplains, well.
We'll get to that in the Secret Sauce, I guess.
Yeah.
On to notable war gear, which thinking back on it should have been like notable bullshit technology that they have.
Yeah, like I posted that meme earlier. The Dreadwing Protocol. It's essentially.
Do I want to know?
Yeah, it's essentially, alright, shit's fucked. Let's pull out all of the Dark Age of technology stuff we have and just destroy everything in our path. This includes gravity destroying weapons, Men of Iron.
Oh no.
Christ, there's so much stuff. It's difficult to explain. It's like
they have Phosphex weapons, my favorite.
Well, Phosphex weapons are just like standard. They're not necessarily Dark Age. I mean, the Mechanicus uses them, so
yeah.
Really?
I'll just say I don't think the Dreadwing protocol has been activated since Lion's return, because there has not yet been a need to. Even with how bad things have gone, there has not been a need to use the Dreadwing protocol just yet.
Oh my.
That's concerning. And I'm guessing it's also a kind of it's a massive commitment of resources. So the Lion seems like he's a very calculating and strategic individual, not just a tactical individual, but a strategic
I firmly believe he is the best tactician in terms of Primarchs. Whereas Whereas Gilliman is able to plan ahead, and
Yeah.
before a battle,
Gilliman
he'll say,
is a logistician
Is a
slash bureaucrat.
yeah,
He's a strategist.
yeah, and
There's
he'll
a difference
plan
between
things.
strategy and
Yeah,
tactics.
yeah, he'll plan things a couple of hours ahead. The Lion is able to just plan things on the fly.
Yeah.
Okay.
As things are happening, he'll come up with solutions. Do that, do this, do that, do that, blah, 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 win the battle.
Yep.
So very much an Agrippin kind of thing as opposed
which
to
is
a...
why I
yeah.
believe he will be able to beat Imhotep the Stormlord where Gilliman couldn't.
Really?
Yeah. Because the Lion can just come up with plans on the fly and not have to sit around for half an hour thinking about it.
And that is where Imhotep is, his weakness is he's very long game. He's a very long game guy. And if you just do weird shit, he's going to be like, hang on a minute here.
Do not compute, do not compute, do not compute.
Oh, Imhotep. That's the next book I got to read. The Stormlord.
Aside from, the part where they turn, a chunk of a planet into the equivalent of a nuclear-equipped Iowa-class battleship, what other weird tech do you have?
I mean, that Terminator armor, I'd argue, is somewhat stronger than normal Terminator armor. I don't know if this is a lore thing or it's just something someone made up, but I did hear at one point that the pauldron on the left side has a little piece of the Emperor's armor in it.
That is all Terminator armor.
All Terminator? Okay, yeah. Right, I was just making sure.
They all have the Crux Terminus.
Yeah.
Like we said earlier, they do have jet bikes. And I think other vehicles, or am I wrong on that?
Well, the hover vehicle that Samael uses is the only one of its kind.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, that doesn't mean that it's the best of its kind. It just means the only one.
Well, it's a jet bike from the Golden Age. It's like, that's the only thing from the Dreadwing Protocol that just gets used on the regular.
Okay. And is there, I was kind of trying to see if I could find a example of like a list of the weaponry or equipment that the Dreadwing Protocol would utilize. And I'm not seeing much, at least that I can see.
Yeah, like I say, secrets.
Okay, so it is very much...
Yeah, it's so secret even the people that make the law don't know what it is.
Right. I mean, I'm sure they have some idea, but like I said in the Imperial Navy show or episode, someone might know. Well, someone almost certainly knows. It's just no one we know has gone over it yet.
Yeah, I mean the Lion knows, but why would he?
Well, like one of the ones is the Castellan class battle robot. Yeah. We know that's a thing that's in the Dreadwing Protocol, which is effectively the Men of Iron. They're not, but they're
one of them. Yeah.
Oh, there's at least one of them that's in there.
Just looking at like a lot of their looking at their weapons, everything's a power weapon.
Yeah.
Which on its own, those are, I wouldn't say they're reliquary or relic items, but they're fucking close. Power weapons are not.
They're powerful. They're not rare. Or they're not like fucking lost technology. I don't even think they're close to being it. It's just they're very expensive.
A lot of the swords are Golden Age technology. Like Belial, the leader of the Deathwing, he has the Sword of Silence. And it literally, as he swings it, it sucks sound out of the air. It's fucking stupid.
Interesting. I mean, you can do stuff with that. By the way, I did look. Phosphac weapons are considered lost technology.
Huh.
Oh.
The last SDC fragment for their manufacture was destroyed by Tech Priest Veriliad. He destroyed it because he was terrified of it.
I must have been thinking of Phos 4 weapons.
Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah.
I love Phosphex weapons. It's like, oh, fire that never goes out and burn
Yeah.
everything to ash. It's like, oh.
Okay, just for an idea, everything I'm about to say, put power in front of it. Sword, hammer, sword, weapon, or flail, halberd, sword, maul, sword. That's their melee
These are
weapons.
the equipment options.
Yeah, that sounds like some Deathwing Knights right there.
Yeah, no, the halberd of Caliban, used by Deathwing Terminators of the Unforgiven. And then the flail of the Unforgiven, used by Deathwing Knights of the Unforgiven.
Yep.
Hey man, it's exactly what it says on the tin. I like that.
Yeah.
In terms of technology that they have, the one that does interest me because I love horror is Tuchul. Let me see if I can pronounce this correctly. Tuchulka.
Tucholka. Fuck it.
Tucholka. That sounds much better.
Yeah. That thing.
That's what you were talking about before. That I believe it was.
Yeah.
Who stole that again? Hang on, my brain.
What the fuck is a Heavenfall blade?
Vashtor. Thank you.
Okay, just master.
Johan's just looking up weapons.
Yeah, no, I'm. So I've gone through their standard close combat weapons, and now I'm looking at their relic close combat weapons, and holy shit, is it a long list?
Yeah.
Is it? I hope that list is longer than the actual standard weapon.
No, they have a power sword / demon weapon. Oh, it was originally wielded by Luther, gifted to him by Lion, blah blah blah. Lost during destruction of Caliban, but later recovered by the Dark Angels and returned to the weapon. Okay. Nightfall. Yeah. Anyway. Ranged weapons. Automatic pulse pistol. Get into the ranged weapon, eh? Automatic pulse pistols. The fuck is that?
I'm gonna guess that it has something to do with stripping atoms away, a la Gauss weapon.
Possibly.
Plating them in your armored vehicle. Yeah, so it does some kind of horrible atom smashy.
Yeah.
Proton. It's probably like a collimated proton beam or something horrible.
Missile, biological weapon, graviton weapon, missile, neural shredder, torpedo.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Yeah. A molecular acid shell for bolters. Phosphex incinerator cannon.
Which we all know what those do.
Plasma.
So, like I said before, it seems like that is their doctrine is to use. It almost seems like doctrine-wise, they want to hit as hard as possible.
Yeah.
They want to hit as hard as possible and not.
If you're gonna go with Dark Angels, make sure you get a good few boxes of Hell Blasters.
Okay.
Essentially.
Yeah.
Because they seem to want to hit really, really hard, and then, like, I don't want to say that they don't like sustained fights because Space Marines can do that. It's fine.
I will say this is a common misconception with Warhammer 40k. People think that the Ultramarines are the jack of all trades. This is not true. This is the Dark Angels.
Okay. Because plasma weapons are so incredibly flexible.
Yeah. Dark Angels are pretty much like the second best at everything because they need to be used to take out other legions if those legions turn traitor.
Yeah.
Which is why Horus did his bullshit and tricked the line into sending the Dark Angels far, far away when the Horus Heresy started. It's like, get the biggest problem away from us.
To continue
Which, totally understandable.
To continue on from all of the plasma weapons, we have whatever the fuck a Pyrax Ecstasis is, a Rad Wave, which is a radiation weapon. You know, it's not too stupid.
Gamma beams do things.
A Raven Wing grenade launcher. All right. bolt pistol, nano weapon, stasis round, stasis grenade, stasis shell. I'm assuming these are for catching the fallen.
Right, I was about to say
Yeah.
that they probably do have
Yeah.
specialized
Yeah,
weaponry
you
in
don't
war
want to
here.
kill. Yeah, you don't want to kill them. You need to torch them first.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, pretty much everything in their relic ranged weapons is either plasma or bolter.
Mm-hmm.
Which makes sense.
Yeah, they've got a plasma fusil. Yeah.
At least one person who speaks French is going to get mad at you for that.
I learned French. Excuse my accent, but that's the closest I'm gonna get. Anyway, yeah, they've got a fuckload of like armor too.
Yeah, I mean, we could have this episode going for 3 hours if you really wanted me to go in depth, but I don't think that's what we're going for.
No.
Yeah, no, I'm just skimming over it. The Exindio class battle automaton.
Yeah, that's probably similar
made
to
from the remains of men of the Iron Men. Okay, they put that fucking weird.
Yeah, the Men of Iron are fucking terrifying. I want to do a whole thing about that.
Oh yeah,
like
we
robots.
will at some point. But gun crawler. Oh, that's unification wars.
It was something funny actually. Speaking of weapons, the weapons
Hmm?
that the Raven Wing use the most are pickaxes.
Oh yeah.
Oh, back to Colbon. Back to Colbon. Yeah, of course.
I imagine it's so you
That
can
that
just
makes me laugh.
take heads with you
Yeah.
as you go.
It's so from an equipment standpoint, like I was saying before, they seem to have
Even
not just more advanced weaponry, but they have a very large amount of relic weaponry relative to other chapters, except for maybe the Raven Guard, but they don't count because they steal everything.
No, that's the Blood Ravens.
The Blood Ravens. I'm sorry, the Blood Ravens are the one that steal everything.
Just a quick aside before we continue. Even their land speeder variant, the Vengeance, has a plasma storm battery on it.
Of course.
Oh
Again,
yeah,
fire.
I should have got some pictures of the specific Raven Wing vehicles because there are some good ones.
Yeah.
They don't look like just a cargo shipping container with a bunch of stuff strapped to it, like most of the.
No.
Oh,
That is my big
Nephilim
criticism of most of the specialized vehicles for the Space Marines. They look like they are just cargo containers.
A rift
Let me just
cannon?
get a few pictures here
What?
and I'll
Yeah, go for it.
them in.
The just to fill gap to the secret sauce. How did the Dark Angels in general, in lore, to your knowledge, react to the return of the Lion? Because I'm imagining that was a big shakeup.
Honestly, I haven't really looked into it that much because it's all in the new codex and I don't have the new codex.
Oh, there hasn't been any Black Library stuff about it?
Not yet. There's
Oh my
there's the
God.
book where the Lion wakes up, and then the Arcs of Omen book, which is only like 3 hours long, which is where the Lion kills Demon Angron. Like he just says,
He what?
yeah, yeah.
Solo?
Yeah,
he
the Lion
crushes-
is one of the best duelists
Jesus
of all the primates.
Fuck, I'm hiding under the table.
Excuse me, not one of the.
That's. Oh my goodness.
Okay, yeah, I'll give you
Yeah.
that. He
And now-
did best
and now
Lehman
he's-
Russ.
Well, Lehman Russ is. Ugh.
He's not a duelist, he's a berserker.
Yeah. Well, he's a
I'm-
berserker, but then the Lion just sucker punched him and took him out in one go.
Yeah.
I'm
But,
sorry,
yeah,
I have my hands, like with my head in my hands, just like
yeah.
he
Keep in mind-
soloed Angron.
Yeah, keep in mind the Lion has still been
Fuck.
aging for the past 10,000 years, so he's an old man, and he caved in Demon Angron's head with his shield.
Fucking hell, dude. I'm just
so awesome.
I'm just wrapping my head around because I know Angron cut a planet in half.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't
Yeah.
just him that did it, but
And Sanguinius, by the way, had to get stabbed through the chest in order to kill Angron.
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
The Horus, okay, I will say this. Horus is a cheeky, clever monkey putting Lion on the other side of the galaxy when he was up to his shenanigans.
And he also got the Night Lords to kind of give them the runaround to keep them away longer.
Yeah.
Because it was a fight the Night Lords could never win, but they were just a distraction.
But it was enough to annoy. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Night Lords, the patron saint of lost fucking causes there. It's like, we're gonna do stuff. It's like, oh god, you emo.
No,
Fucks.
it's
Just
not
calm
that
down.
they're gonna do stuff, it's they're gonna do stuff in the most circuitous way possible.
Yeah. But I do want to get this point across. Like I say, the Lion had been aging for the past 10,000 years and beat Demon Angron.
Well-
Gilliman was frozen in time and got killed by Mortarion, and then the Emperor had to bring him back to life.
Yeah, had to use breath of life on his ass. In the arms of an angel, just playing.
Cannot be overstated how powerful the Lion actually is. It's just people. I mean, it's understandable to some extent that people aren't really interested in Dark Angels because it's kind of outplayed at this point. The whole knights and wings and all that crap.
There's so many other
But I
knights
think
you could
that
go look at if you want it.
Yeah.
If you want knights in 40k.
Yeah, and people are.
I'm
people
interested
seem
in
to-
seeing how they're going to play, or not play, but how they're going to write this as they go on, especially in the Black Library, because I would love to see them be completely unironic about it and
Yeah.
really lean into this idea of a knightly secret society, very Gnostic, Masonic vibes. If they do it right, this will be super fucking cool to see expanded upon.
Now then, I think it's time we get into the longest section, probably, of this whole thing. The secret source.
Okay. Right. So where to begin with?
Let's start with, like, a general history.
Okay, right. So the Lion crash landed on Caliban, as all of the Primarchs did on their planet. And from the moment he was let out of the pod as a little baby to about the age of 20 or something like that, he was just fighting chaos demon monsters non-stop, naked in the forest.
As you do.
And this was, I mean, I can't describe. Imagine, what's the world? What are they called? The Katachan.
Yeah.
Imagine a Katachan world, but instead of plants, it's just chaos monsters.
Yeah, instead of
It's
plants
really
and tyrannids, it's
Darkspawn.
chaos.
Yeah, even the people that live on Caliban, they've got really high walls and castles, and only certain people are allowed to leave, and they have to leave in big groups, otherwise they will not come back.
I'm half convinced
I like it.
that Caliban is where Warhammer Fantasy was.
It's possible, because, yeah, there's a lot of shit there, to say the least. And obviously,
minus the elves.
after
of
spending...
course.
minus the elves, fuck the elves.
Yeah.
After spending some time alone in the forest, naked, as you do, Luther discovered him and raised him, and then the Emperor came, and the Emperor immediately gave the Lion his legion, which is honestly rare, but you know. it's
Yeah,
the
normally
Lion.
they have to go through some thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
I
guessing that
imagine-
Lion was like, "Oh yeah, you're my dad." Like he immediately recognized it. Unlike
Pretty
some
much.
others.
I
Pretty much.
imagine the only other ones that did that had their own stellar empires at that point.
Yeah, so Gilliman.
Like Dorn, I imagine,
Gilliman,
was
Dorn,
like, "Oh, yep, I know who you are."
I don't know what happened to fucking Horus because I never fucking bothered to look, but Maybe Horus.
Honestly,
No.
I don't think they've really explored it that much with Horus.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be an interesting book.
They know his homeworld, and that's about it.
Okay.
As far as I'm aware, I haven't read anything specific.
All right. Then the
I'll look
only
into that later.
thing, like the instances I'm thinking of his early life are probably from like fan fictions and shit. Anyway.
Mm.
But you know, valid.
And then the Emperor discovered him, gave him his legion, and then he began his Great Crusade, and he had Luther by his side.
Yeah.
But the thing about Luther, oh, what do you want to say?
Didn't he turn like that entire knightly order that raised him into like proto space marines or some shit?
No. They already had kind of like really early Space Marine armor that was human-sized.
No, but I meant
That
like
is
genetic augmentation.
Luther.
Oh no.
Oh.
No. Luther and maybe one or two others did
Okay.
get enhanced, but everyone else got turned into a Space Marine if they were young enough.
Ah.
Right, because Luther was obviously too old to be a space marine.
Yes, but he still had respect, and it's one of those things where Luther, if the lion didn't land on that planet, Luther would have been the most important person to ever live on Caliban, because
Interesting.
he had the one thing that the lion didn't at that time: charisma.
Ah,
And he would have been able to combine all the different clans on the planet to kill all the beasts.
Yes. Primarchs. Turning main characters into NPCs.
Yeah.
I mean,
And-
it's a sliding scale, obviously.
Yeah. And obviously Luther started to get very jealous. Very, very jealous, to the point where he nearly let a dignitary's bomb blow up on the lion's ship in order to kill him, but just changed his mind at that very last second. But the lion knew. The lion knew what happened. He just
So
knew.
the lion was so from an early point, the lion was aware of Luther's, let's call it, instability.
No, he saw him. Well, in his early life, he saw him as a father, and then obviously
Understandable.
because he got bigger, he saw him as a brother, and that's where the relationship started to differ. He never felt any animosity towards him. He loved him. It's actually one of those things where the lion will talk about how much he genuinely loves his sons, because he does.
And that where the doctrine comes in, is because of that, as opposed to, like, I'm imagining like any other Primarch, if the things that happened to Lion were to happen to any other Primarch's chapter, they would just be like, oh, mark them all, get rid of them. They are a stain on reality. Yeet.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
But I think this will help explain with when the lion returned as well. Is that like I say, he genuinely loved his sons with all his heart. Not like Horus, where he's just saying he loves them to use them.
Right.
And when the Luther betrayed the lion in that way, he sent him back to Caliban to train more recruits, because he was like, I can't trust you by my side anymore. I still love you, but I can't have you by my side anymore. And
God,
Luther,
that's heartbreaking.
yeah, and Luther on the planet of Caliban with the Dark Angels he had with him, he would go into the library that had a lot of chaos books, shall we say?
Yeah, spicy stuff.
Yeah, and he was in fact able to create a pentagram and all that stuff and summon his own demon that tricked him into betraying the lion even more, and got him a meeting with Typhus and Corpheron, I believe.
Oh no.
And Typhus and Corpheron, I think it was I know 100% it was Typhus. But they came to a meeting with Luther and said, hey, join us, we're doing some sneaky snoo. But Luther still said no. wasn't loyal to the Imperium. He wasn't loyal to Horus. He was loyal to Caliban and its people. And he was essentially just another world that claimed its independence from the Imperium once the Horus heresy had ended. But he did it secretly. So when the Lion returned after the Horus heresy, a battle immediately erupted.
Oh, boy.
And this battle led to the planet literally being ripped apart, and all the Dark Angels that were considered traitor got shoved into the warp and spread throughout time and space. All
Okay.
popping out at random points during the 41st millennium. Which is why the Dark Angels, whenever they get a whiff, immediately go and hunt them down.
Mm-hmm.
But the issue with this is that not all of them were actually traitors. Essentially what happened was Luther and a couple of others were very, very angry and tricked all the other Dark Angels on the planet into thinking the Lion had betrayed them.
So there's where that charisma comes in.
Yeah, exactly. And so this means only a few of them are traitors, and for thousands of years, the interrogator chaplains have been torturing to death loyalist Space Marines.
Oh no.
Now, that actually makes me ask you a question, because I thought that the point was not to torture them to death, but to make them repent. Am I incorrect in that assumption?
The same thing.
Oh.
They torture them to death, or they torture them till they repent, and then they kill them.
Yep.
That's terrifying.
I'm sad now.
Yeah, I know, that's such a bummer. It's like there's no it's rough, but I get it, because like chaos is one of those things where, and this is again one of the really cool things that I like about the way that the lore for 40K works, is that when you see it, it sees you, kind of thing. Like, you can't have this knowledge if you're not prepared and then survive or ever get redeemed.
Yeah.
Like, even Fulgrim can't be redeemed.
No, definitely not.
Clone Fulgrim.
So, like, like, despite everybody trying to, oh my god, we're not going to talk about that because I'll get annoyed. People.
Anyway,
Fulgrim's an asshole. Leave it alone.
Yeah. Let's move on to after that. Is there anything after that?
So, after that, obviously now the Lion is back. He woke up, like he was put to sleep on the rock after the battle. The Watchers in the Dark, who I haven't mentioned for some reason.
Well,
the Watchers in the Dark were natives to the planet Caliban, and they were essentially just little dudes in green hoodies that scare Chaos.
Oh.
Yeah.
They what?
Chaos is scared of the Watchers in the Dark, these little dudes in green hoodies.
Nice.
And they took the Lion deep into the rock and put him to sleep. And then one day, the Lion just awoke on a random planet, as he discovered he now has the ability to just teleport.
What?
Oh no.
The way he teleports, it's quite interesting. It's like the portal he opens is like a little forest, and he walks through it. He walks through a forest and then just appears somewhere else.
Huh.
Oh god, it is the literal Schwarzwald. Oh my.
Oh no. I don't know what that is.
Oh, that's so funny. Sorry. References to other fictional series and universes.
Yeah, I got you.
But that's super fucking cool. I love the idea of that being that flavor of because I'm gonna have to look more into that.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to send me a book about that, because I want to see if my suspicions are confirmed. If they are, then I'm gonna start screaming.
That's the book where he just comes back. I'll send you that link.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, as he he teleports around, he keeps coming across more and more Dark Angels in black armor, which is what they were in the Horus Heresy. They wore black armor. And every time he comes across them, they all say the same thing. Why did you betray us? Blah, 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 blah. And then somehow in this new book that was written by Mike Brooks, the Lion has somehow got charisma now.
I mean, when you get that old, you know.
Yeah, but he wasn't doing anything in those 10,000 years. He was
No,
sleeping.
Yeah.
He was dreaming. He was sojourning among the wood.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to get into any more because then I will just be spoiling the book.
Right.
But yeah. I mean, that's it really. That's all I can say without spoiling the books.
Yeah.
So,
go ahead.
There's a couple of characters that I've seen named and mentioned before, and the one that seems to pop up a lot, like almost in hushed tones, is and I'm sure I'm gonna get funny noise out of you, is Cypher.
Oh yes, I forgot about him.
Almost forgot about him.
Yeah.
That seems to be his shtick, though, is that he's kind of shadowy. I know very little about him. All I know is a couple of the memes and a couple of the mentions where it's just like, yeah, nobody knows who he is. Nobody knows what's going on. He's just here. He's there. He has a really powerful weapon. What's going on with this?
Yep. I currently have the Cypher book downloaded on Audible. I really want to listen to it, but I've got 3 other books to get through first. As far as I'm aware,
the problem with the lore with 40K. There's so much, and it's so good.
As far as I'm aware, he is currently just running around on Terra, like looking away to get to a meeting with the Emperor.
Oh.
And I think it's not. Well, obviously, it's one of those that no one knows whether he's actually a loyalist or a traitor.
Do we know what he does, though?
I mean, the way it comes across is like he has his own plan, and the Dark Angels. So Luther obviously got captured, right? And he was placed in a cell where time is essentially frozen. And he was in 10,000 years had gone by, but he only experienced like 40 odd days. So, and that was because they took the timer off and then just tortured him, and then froze him again, tortured him, all that. And every time he got frozen again, he would see visions of what would happen in the future. And that's when Cypher came up. And every time they've come across Cypher, he's either been helping them or hindering them. So no one really knows whether he's loyalist, a traitor, or he's just making shit up as he goes along.
I'm getting big Alpha Legion vibes then, where it's like, what are you doing?
That is one of the theories. People believe that Cypher could be Omegon.
Oh, that would be fucking horrifying of a concept.
Yeah. But as far as we're aware, we think Cypher's current plan is to kill the Emperor so he can come back to life in his full form.
Which would destroy Terra.
Which would destroy Terra, yes.
Yeah, and destroy the I believe it's the Astronomicon.
Yeah.
You know, the thing that they need.
Yeah.
So he's either trying to help humanity or destroy humanity.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
And I love that there is a major ambiguity over that, because you can take it both ways. You can take it, well, yeah, he's going to kill the Emperor and fuck all this stuff up, but the other one is, right now we're on this horrible, janky training wheels life support, and unless we rip the bandage off, it's going to fester and die.
Yeah, I mean, I 100% do not believe he's serving chaos.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You know what would be awful?
What?
And I hope that doesn't happen, is it comes out and they're like, yeah, no, I'm following Malal. It's like, no, please.
Ugh.
No! That was decanonized for a reason.
No, it was decanonized
because they seem to like that lately. They've been pulling a lot of the old lore back and workshopping it up. And I hope they never do it with Malal.
Yeah, the thing is, Malal, they never actually had the rights to it as a company.
Right.
The creators of Malal left. They fucked off. And GW couldn't do anything with the character anymore, so they just like, yeah, whatever, he's decanonized.
Yeah, which honestly, good. So we went through Cypher, we went through Luther. We talked about Ezreal, Asmodai, a handful of the other ones that are in the inner circle. And then we also talked about the fact that repentance is apparently just death. Although I'm seeing here that Luther has repeatedly stated that he will only recant before the lion.
Yes.
And that the lion will absolve the fallen.
Well, he's currently absorbing as many fallen as he can.
Right. Now, by absolving, do we mean liquidating?
Yeah. No. He forgives them, and they fight by his side.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
Because again,
That's
it's almost like Lion has this Arthurian.
Yes, very much
arc.
so.